Have you ever craved something so much you'd do anything to get it? That late-night pang for something sweet, something forbidden? For 10-year-old Leo, that craving was for chocolate. Not just any chocolate, but the rich, dark, melt-in-your-mouth kind that his mom kept locked away in the high cupboard, reserved only for special occasions. Leo, however, believed every night was a special occasion. One Tuesday, the craving hit him harder than ever. He'd had a rough day at school. He'd struck out in kickball, gotten a C on his math test, and his best friend, Sam, had moved to another lunch table. All he wanted was the comforting embrace of a chocolate bar. But his mom was firm. "No more sweets this week, Leo. It's not good for you." Her words echoed in his ears, but they were drowned out by the siren song of the cocoa. That night, as the house fell silent and the moon cast long, eerie shadows across his bedroom floor, Leo made a plan. He was a master of stealth, a ninja in pajamas. He tiptoed out of his room, the old floorboards groaning under his feet like tired old men. Each creak sent a jolt of fear and excitement through him. The kitchen was a cavern of darkness, the only light a faint, ghostly glow from the microwave clock. He dragged the rickety kitchen stool over to the counter. It wobbled precariously as he climbed, his heart thumping a frantic rhythm against his ribs. Reaching up, his fingers fumbled with the latch of the forbidden cupboard. Click! The door swung open, revealing his prize. It wasn't the usual brand. This was a new bar, wrapped in plain dark paper with no name, no logo, just a strange silvery seal. It looked old. Ancient, even. He didn't care. Chocolate was chocolate. He tore open the wrapper. A peculiar smell wafted out, not just of chocolate, but of something else. Earthy, like damp soil and old cellars. He hesitated for a second, but the craving was a roaring beast now. He broke off a piece and popped it into his mouth. The flavor was indescribable. It was richer, darker, and more intense than any chocolate he's ever tasted. It was bitter, but with an undercurrent of something almost like spice, or was it something else? He couldn't quite place it. It wasn't just sweet. It felt alive on his tongue, a tingling sensation spreading through his whole body. It was so good. Too good. He devoured the entire bar in a matter of seconds, the strange, silvery wrapper falling to the floor. Suddenly, a wave of dizziness washed over him. The kitchen seemed to tilt, the counter stretching and warping like in a funhouse mirror. His stomach churned. He felt hot, then cold. A strange itch started all over his body, a prickling sensation under his skin. Panicked, he scrambled off the stool and rushed back to his room, pulling the covers up to his chin. His heart was hammering. Maybe his mom was right. Maybe too much chocolate really was bad for you. He drifted into a feverish, uneasy sleep, filled with bizarre dreams of shrinking hallways and giant furniture. Leo woke up with a gasp. Something was terribly wrong. The morning light filtering through his blinds seemed blindingly bright. The gentle hum of the air conditioner sounded like a jet engine, and his bed felt enormous, the blankets a mountain range of cotton. He tried to sit up, but his limbs wouldn't obey. They felt different, shorter, weaker. He looked down at his hands, but they weren't hands. They were tiny, pink, and covered in a fine layer of white fur. He shrieked, but the sound that came out was not his own. It was a high-pitched, terrified squeak. Panic seized him. He scrambled out of the bed, tumbling onto the floor. The fall, which should have hurt, was just a short drop. His room, his familiar sanctuary, now looked like a vast, terrifying landscape. His toy box was a skyscraper. His desk lamp was a towering lighthouse. He scurried to the full-length mirror, leaning against his wall. He had to crane his neck, standing on his new hind legs to see his reflection. Staring back at him was not the 10-year-old boy with messy brown hair and freckles. Staring back at him was a small white mouse with twitching whiskers, beady black eyes wide with horror, and a long pink tail. The scream was trapped in his tiny throat, coming out as another series of frantic squeaks. This couldn't be happening. It was a nightmare. He had to wake up. He pinched his furry little arm with his furry little paws. Nothing. He was still a mouse. The chocolate. It had to be the chocolate. That strange, ancient-looking bar. What was in it? Suddenly he heard footsteps. Heavy, thunderous footsteps that shook the very floor beneath him. It was his mom. "Leo, time for school. Are you up?" Her voice, usually so comforting, now sounded like the roar of a giant. The doorknob began to turn. Terror, pure and primal, shot through him. He couldn't let her see him like this. She'd scream, she'd faint, or worse. She might not recognize him. She might think he was just a pest. Instinct took over. He darted across the room, a flash of white fur, and squeezed under the gap beneath his bedroom door just as it swung open. He was in the hallway now, a vast open plain. The patterned runner rug was a jungle of fibers. He could smell everything with an overwhelming intensity. The lingering scent of coffee, the lemon polish on the floor, the faint trace of his dad's aftershave. He heard his mom's voice again. Closer now. "Leo? That's funny, his bed is empty." He had to hide. He spotted a tiny hole in the baseboard, a dark opening he'd never noticed before. Without a second thought, he dove into it, squeezing his new small body into the darkness. He found himself in the tight, dusty space between the walls. It was a hidden world of pipes, wires, and insulation. Cobwebs brushed against his whiskers. He could hear everything now, amplified and terrifying, the house groaning, the water rushing through pipes, and the frantic, desperate thump of his own tiny heart. He was trapped. A boy in a mouse's body, lost within the walls of his own home. He could hear his parents starting to worry. Their voices grew more anxious. "Leo? Leo, where are you? This isn't funny." He wanted to call out, to tell them he was right there, just a few inches away, trapped in the dark. But all he could do was squeak, a pathetic sound that would never reach them, a sound they would dismiss as a common household pest. The dark side of chocolate wasn't just a stomach ache. It was a nightmare he was living, second by terrifying second. And he had no idea how it was going to end. All he knew was the gnawing hunger that was starting to build again. But this time, it wasn't for chocolate. It was for a sliver of cheese, a crumb of bread. Anything. He was no longer Leo the boy. He was just a mouse, and he was very, very afraid. Thank you so much for joining me for this creepy tale. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more spooky content. Let me know in the comments what you think happened to Leo. Until next time, stay curious and maybe check the wrapper on your next piece of chocolate.